I've been out of Auckland for like 8 days, so this thing hasn't been driven for 8 days. 8-day cold start, let's go. Today I'm going to talk about all the first mods I did to my Speed 3 here, so that then you guys can hear my thoughts on them, my advice. Should you do this to your own Speed 3? Perhaps you just bought a Speed 3, you want to have an idea of what to do to modify it. Perhaps you're new to the channel and you want to see what I've done to mine. Let's go through all that. So I hate to do this to you guys, right? But my personal best mod that I've done to this car, I'll say that at the end of the video. So, you know, you better fucking watch the end of the video, okay, mate? Yeah, like literally, it's basically free. It gives you more power, it's safe, and it makes it so much fun to drive. Like, I can't recommend it enough. Stay at the end of the video to see that. So I think we'll start with the meat and potatoes, the fucking engine. So I think we'll start firstly with probably the most controversial mod I've done to this whole car, and that is deleting the stock bypass valve, just blocking it off here. So you may ask, you know, why is that controversial? Well, basically, right, there's this big myth online, oh, you know, if you do this, your turbo's gonna blow up in a week. Look, okay. The reality is, right, everyone I've talked to, no one I've even heard of has even heard of someone who's had their turbo blow up because they've blocked off their bypass valve, right? It doesn't happen in the real world, but look, I will admit it puts a bit more strain on your turbo, but the things you do for steez, right? Like, it's fucking sick. You can just get like a Red Bull can and cut it out. I've done a video on it. Check that out. Like, cannot recommend that mod enough if you got balls, you know. But to hear that sound, you gotta want to have a fucking big suck, little intake, right? And yeah, this is another mod I would just have to do if you have one, right? So obviously, even without this, you will get like a slight psh as you let off. And as well as that, you get the sound of the turbo spool. And so I'll let you in a little secret, right? Without a tune, with the intake, people dyno these cars and they're pushing like in the 280s for crank horsepower just with the intake. So it does add power, I guess. The one thing you will want to look out for, however, is that this MAF housing here has to be the same diameter as stock. Otherwise it runs a bit rough and check engine light, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, intake would be one of the first things I do. Second thing would be some sort of exhaust system on it, right? So you could go out and spend, you know, $1,000 on some piece of shit catback system, but all you need to do, right, go to an exhaust shop and just get the resonators cut out, right? Or whatever you want. These cars are really hard to make sound bad, and that's all you need. The stock catback on these has got really good flow to it, so you don't need a $1,000 catback, it's pointless. Now, if you're wondering what mine is, it's basically a full straight pipe from the first cat back. So it's a bit loud, perhaps, you know, if you're on the motorway, it's a bit fucking annoying. I will probably put a muffler in it at some stage, but... Now this next mod I'm going to talk about is probably the most important mod in this whole video, right? And a lot of you guys who know Mazdaspeed will be fucking screaming at your computer now, say, fuck you. Anything more than an intake and a catback and a blow-off valve, you will have to do this mod. And basically, that's your high pressure fuel pump internals. The stock ones aren't very good. I'm not gonna lie, that could cause your engine to kind of like fucking explode. This is not ideal. Really, when you drive, there's no effect on the car, so it feels kind of shit to do because you're just like, oh, I spent that time installing it and $600. and the car's just the same as it was like 3 hours ago. But trust me, you got to do that. I've got videos on that. In fact, I've got videos on basically everything we've done to this car. So, you know, check out the channel, subscribe or something. I think the last thing in the engine bay is actually the rear motor mount down there. What that does, it makes the car feel like a fucking race car. Like, you feel the engine through your steering wheel, your seats, through the floorboards. It feels so good, okay? Also, it gets rid of a lot of the torque steer, which I like torque steer, right? But, yeah. But, at $300, don't get me wrong, it does make quite a good difference. I think the other mods we've already talked about are better value, so I definitely look at doing the mods I've said before this, before a rear motor mount, but definitely a rear motor mount should still be one of the first mods that you do, just not like the first thing. Yeah. You get the idea? Yeah. I guess we'll talk about handling now. So the suspension I've currently got is Tane lowering springs on Tane non-adjustable EnduroFlow shocks. This is probably the biggest change I've noticed on this car during the mod, and that's because before this, we had the worst possible setup on BC Go coilovers, right? It was max stiffness, max low. It was so much easier to control the car. Like, when you're going around the corner, it was insane how easily you could just like feel where you were at the limited grip. Again, obviously I did a video on that, and in that video, it's actually a pretty good video, because not only do I nearly crack the fucking oil pan, the car gets crashed into by a bus and I get scammed all in the one video, so that's a pretty interesting video, I think. But pretty much like the Damon rear motor mount, I look at doing the engine stuff first. I mean, I just, you know, engine, bang and pop. The exhaust pops and bangs a little bit, sometimes. It depends how the car feels. If it wants to pop and bang, it will. If it doesn't, it won't, so. Yes, now I think I will do a video soon about discussing whether you should look at coilovers or lowering springs for your Speed 3, so that will be to come. But for now, I think we'll talk about the interior. So, you can't really see it, but I've got solid shifter bushings. Now, it did make somewhat of a difference. The shift does feel a bit nicer, but it's not crazy, right? Like, for the price, can't complain, right? The plastic on this and these, I think it looks really good. Some people don't. Some people think it's rice. So, now I think we should talk aesthetics, right? We'll start at the front of the car. So, one thing I do really like about this car are these headlights we've done. I actually blacked out the chrome in it and we've fitted halos. I think they do look really good. Let me say this incredibly quickly, right? If you've got to rebuild your headlights just like I did, you need to reseal them properly, otherwise they will leak, you will blow HID ballast, and that's $600 for a brand new OEM replacement. That being said, even if you go to a business and get it done, there's a very well-known business here in my country. From what I've seen, what my friends have seen, what people that know what they're talking about have seen, I would not be going with them, to say the least. But yeah, like the stock headlights don't even look bad. Would you to restore your stock headlights? Obviously, mine will look nicer, but it is a lot more work. Now, also on the headlights, we've got the eyelids. But this mod is definitely, I think, something you should do. One of the first things, aesthetic-wise, what I did, classy dip this shit, classy dip that. Oh my god, did this make a world of difference. Not only, okay, I love a bit of plastic dip, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably one of my favorite things on this planet, besides, we've also got the plastic dip mirrors, we've got these plastic dip bonnet stripes, right? We've got videos on all of this. I've done all that, then from other angles, it just looked a bit confused, until we did this, right? Beautiful, bloody, universal Facebook Marketplace splitter. Oh my god, did this, so mean and aggressive with it. 70 bucks. 70 bucks, oh my god. And to go alongside with that is the Facebook Marketplace Universal side skirts, 100 bucks. Yeah, they look fucking mad. So the wheels I've got on here are NKs, they're from a Nissan 370Z, made by NK 370Z wheels. Now coming around to the back of the car, we've got these are from a naturally aspirated Axella, just from, you know, you just go to a wrecker or something. I think the red on red goes so hard. I think it's just so unique, it looks so cool. And obviously, So yeah, I definitely recommend that. I definitely recommend wheels. The exhaust tips here, the old owner had them done. It was his idea. It was done by One of One Custom Auto. What a legend. Now, that's fucking sick. They get a bunch of compliments. So now, the best mod I've done to this car is called a SWAS delete. So when you floor it, the car will sense torque steer, and basically what it does is it cuts your boost, your timing, and all that, and it gives you less power. Little plug that you unplug under here, and that turns it off. And basically what that means is you get more power in first and second gear, you get more torque steer, more wheel spin, it's just so, it feels so good. I think there's really no mod I've been disappointed in, but that's sort of that. It's, like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram or something, please. Fuck you. I mean, I love you. That's what I meant to say.